guys, Lisa Ren back with another car video. So I know my face probably looks really shiny. I caught the world's worst head cold. I have like a really bad head cold. I don't know if it's like, the changing weather and like just whatever, but my face has been really dry from like blowing my nose, so I have like Vaseline slathered all over my face. So ignore my shiny face. A lot of you guys have been asking me what did I think about Kendrick Lamar winning the Pulitzer Prize for Damn. So I wanted to make this video talking about that a little bit. You guys know that I don't care for awards. This is why I no longer review awards shows. I don't really talk a lot about awards in general, except within the context of basically discussing how awards and award shows, they're kind of like a micro example of what we see happening in our society, on a macro level, on a large scale level, in terms of like what gets rewarded, what we want. I feel like awards are pretty much entirely arbitrary and subjective, and especially when it comes to black artists, and especially when it comes to black art. Like, how are you going to tell me that like my art doesn't have value unless I win this award? Basically, I have like a whole series of videos on how I feel about that. If any of you guys haven't seen excuse me, any of those videos, of course I will have links in the description box, and also if you click the eye in the right hand corner. But it's just interesting to see the way that like awards are handed out in terms of the system of racism, white supremacy that loves black art but hates black bodies, right? So I found it really funny to see that Kendrick Lamar won a Pulitzer Prize for Damn. Damn was nominated for the Album of the Year Grammy, which Bruno Mars won, right? So I was like, I put on Twitter, I was like, this shit just makes it even more fucking hilarious. Like, Damn winning the Pulitzer just makes it even more hilarious that Bruno Mars won Album of the Year. Because again, that just like furthers my point that like, especially something like the Grammys, which are supposed to be this marker of artistic excellence, it's just a microcosm of what we see in our society of like, we want our, like, Bruno Mars was pretty much literally rewarded for not being black. Like, Damn by Jay-Z was also nominated, like 444, Damn by Jay-Z, Damn by Kendrick was also nominated, like 444 by Jay-Z was nominated, Awaken My Love by Donald Glover was nominated, Bruno, and I think Lorde, the girl Lorde, I don't think they were going to give it to Lorde because they gave it to Adele last year. So it's like, we're not going to give it to Lorde, and we're really not going to give it to these three niggas. So Bruno, you win by default. Like, he basically won by default. Like, you're doing traditional, black American music, but you're not black, so we're gonna reward you literally for like not being black. It's hilarious. And then to see Damn go on to win a Pulitzer, it's just like I said, it's especially like in terms of like the mainstream system, which is the system of racism, white supremacy. Like that's pervasive. Like that is our entire society. Like we have decided, and we've been decided, it's historical, that we want our black art, we want our black culture, we want all the good black American goodness, but we don't want it from these black bodies. We don't want these black bodies. So in terms of like a Pulitzer itself, obviously Pulitzers are extremely prestigious awards that are given out to bodies of work that have like extreme critical and cultural significance. I believe like Alice Walker, I believe, won a Pulitzer. Like Toni Morrison won a Pulitzer. Kendrick Lamar is like of note because he's the first non-jazz, non-classical artist to win, and he's like the first hip-hop artist to ever win. But again, I kind of feel like, award shows are really arbitrary. Like, it's not a show, let me not say that. Awards are really arbitrary. Like, I saw somebody on Twitter that was like, well, I guess this, like, ends the debate over, like, who the greatest rapper is. I was like, no, the greatest rapper is still Jay-Z. Like, just because now Kendrick Lamar has this award, and even, like, who you think is the greatest is even still subjective. But I was like, just because, like, Kendrick Lamar now has this award, I hate the idea of, like, you have awards and, like, now all of a sudden that means something in terms of, like, talent. Like, now all of a sudden the talent has gone up or down. Like, now all of a sudden the talent has changed. Damn is the exact same album that it was. 444 is the exact same album that it was. Jay-Z's discography is exactly the same as it was. Nas is exact, this idea that we give out awards and like now all of a sudden the art has value or has merit. I don't like that idea. I don't like that concept, especially when like, again, like consistently and historically black art is not recognized. So does that mean that the black art doesn't have merit? Like I don't like that. It's just I don't like that. But as an artist, as a creative, as a writer, as all these things, like I do on the other hand, like recognize like the need to like want to see your art be recognized. But even that's like the ego. Like, are you creating your art out of ego, you know, for ego, or are you creating it like for creative expression? Are you creating it to say something? All these things play into like, you know, the life of a career artist or professional artist or whatever you want to call it. And I believe the Pulitzer also comes with like $1 million cash prize. So not to like downplay Kendrick receiving the award, but again, even the fact that he's the first hip hop artist ever to win this award is amazing. That he's the first non-jazz, non-classical artist ever to win this award. Like even the Pulitzer has a history of being racist, like especially when it comes to like the music category of like not wanting to recognize art that's non-jazz, non-classical, not even wanting to give it to black jazz musicians who pioneered the art form, right? Not wanting to recognize black classical musicians, you know, that we put so much emphasis on these awards and on these prizes as markers of artistic excellence. And I don't know, but I mean, like, sure, congrats. People did love Damn. You guys know how I personally feel about Kendrick Lamar. Like, he's not my cup of tea. I feel like white people like Kendrick Lamar way too much for his work to be challenging to them. Kind of just like I said in my last video, like anything that too many people like, they're not being challenged. And I don't know, like white people have decided they love Kendrick. Something about what he does is really palatable for them, which I feel like in that case isn't really revolutionary, but that's just my personal opinion. I do think that when Macklemore won that Rap Album of the Year Grammy over Kendrick, it kind of woke him up a little bit to the politics of the music industry, and now he's playing more to the politics of it, and it's been working out for him, so kudos to him. But I don't know, that's how I feel about that. It doesn't really mean anything to me personally. Kanye West, I don't know if Kanye West's been taking sense pills. I don't know if the Kardashians have like ran out of tea and he has been momentarily allowed out of the sunken place, you know. They let him out of the basement because he's been having a moment of clarity. He's been tweeting some things that actually make sense for a change. I'm sure they're gonna re-up and get him back in the sunken place soon. But he tweeted something the other day that I thought was really interesting. He said, you know, some people have to work inside of the consciousness and some people shift the consciousness, which I totally agree with. And I feel like obviously everyone has their own parts to play. Like everybody plays their position. I say all the time that I feel like revolution is like a car, and a car takes so many moving parts to work. Everybody's not going to be able to do the same thing and play the same role. And so let's just say, like, just in terms of like awards and art and stuff like that, I do think you're going to have some people that work within the system, that work within the existing consciousness, and that are working to win prizes, and that are working to win awards, and that are going to be recognized in a certain type of way because they're working within the existing consciousness. And then I think you do have people that are working outside of the consciousness, that are maybe working in more abstract ways, more challenging ways, more controversial ways that maybe aren't going to be recognized. Maybe working a little bit more to shift consciousness. And again, getting back to examples of micro examples of macro levels and systems, you know, small things that are happening on a big scale. There are people that work within the system in certain types of ways. People that say, you know, I'm going to get my Fortune 500 job specifically so I can hire more black people, specifically so I can bring more black people on and stuff like that. I want to work within the system. Then you have people that say, well, I don't want to work within the system at all. I want to work outside of the system. I want to work outside of the established consciousness. I want to dismantle the system. I want to upend it. I want to end it. I don't support it. Obviously, y'all probably know where I fall on that spectrum of things. I have retweeted that tweet from Kanye, and somebody replied and said, like, I definitely feel like you're working like outside of the consciousness and working to shift consciousness. And even sometimes like it makes me uncomfortable. They were like, and I'm sure it makes other people uncomfortable, but like that's a part of shifting consciousness, is being uncomfortable, you know, is being challenged, is maybe even being a little bit controversial. So I don't know, it's just interesting all around. That's just, I don't know what I feel about it. What do you guys think about it? Yet again, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos on awards and prizes and stuff like that, please check those out. Again, there will be links in the description box, or if you click the eye in the right hand corner. There will be more links on this whole Kendrick Lamar Pulitzer thing. I might write something about it. Yeah, what do you guys think? Drop me a comment. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Car video. Peace.